I've got a singer, songwriter, and good vibes. Kenyan, 100% Kenyan, and super talented. CeCe Sagini is in the studio, y'all.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Spice Drive. Good to see you after so many years.
Right? Oh,
It's been so long.
I'm happy to be here.
And it's great to have this conversation. Earlier, I was talking to a friend of mine about how we've all had to unlearn and relearn and figure things out on who we are.
Yes.
Forget even learning about the environment around us, who we are.
Oh, yes.
And I'm glad you're joining us for this. And we're going to be celebrating a brand new record.
Yes.
Whoop, whoop. Someone's been working very hard.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So for those who do not know, who is CeCe Sagini?
Wow. So I feel like I should say I've been here. But CeCe is a singer-songwriter, an enthusiast about wellness, personal mastery, and I have sung for a while, but I'm happy to be back again. Yeah.
Yeah. When you say back again, what do you mean? Had you taken a break?
It has been somewhat of a break because I've been trying to juggle both worlds, both the corporate world and the singer-songwriter creative world. So there are times you find yourself so swayed when you go towards the corporate side and you find yourself just doing things on that side. Right. And then at some point, the creative pulls you back. There's no way you can run away from music. So it pulls you back and then you get back on the side and you do tracks. So I'm happy to try and juggle both, but it could be crazy.
Yeah.
So there are days you go silent.
Right.
And guys are like, where is CeCe?
Yeah, where is CeCe? Where's the music?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of tweets about your records. You have given us amazing tracks.
Thank you.
I've seen Shadrach here talk about 95. I'm a
Yes.
doer. One of my favorites. I'm a doer. I played the hell out of the song back in the day. Sio Mwisho, Feel It,
Mwisho.
among others. I've seen Find Me and Come Down. There's a lot that people can get on online platforms. But before we get into where we are going for 2021 and the fact that you're gifting us with something special,
Right.
where did this all begin? Because you're multi-talented and you're gifted in many other areas.
Right.
Why pour it all in music?
Oh my gosh, I'm a lover of music from, I think it started off with my grandparents and then went on to my father. My father was a lover of music. My mom is in the choir.
Yeah.
My dad used to play the guitar for us in the house. If it's Christmas time, we'd sit down
What?
together and then we'd, jam with him. So
Yeah.
it's always been like that thing. And then my big sister is a lover of music. So she used to make us stand in front of her and dance.
Love
So
it.
it was quite interesting to just, get into the world. And I used to listen to a lot of albums.
Yeah.
So by the time I was growing up, and I just found myself in there and
Yeah.
singing. And
It was natural
it
for
was
you.
natural for me.
Yeah, kind of like the Jacksons and the Braxtons.
Exactly.
You had no choice. You were born into it. And then you decided to pursue this professionally.
Right. So I think, and also going to, where was I? Primary school and
Yes.
high school. I used to like to just be a part of the music teams that were playing around there. And there was, I think, piano classes also being offered. And I
Right.
used to like that too. So
Right.
I try and involve myself within the spaces. just to
Love
be a part of it.
that. There's a lot of people listening in, and we know that you probably grew up loving music, but
Right.
life happens.
Yes.
And you're thinking, I cannot be a star on this continent. I have to get that 9 to 5. I have to get that job. I've seen Felista saying CeCe should do an a cappella for us. It's been such
Oh,
a
wow.
long minute. Everyone is excited about this comeback. And for you, coming back is not just musically speaking. There's
Yeah.
also finding yourself.
Oh, exactly.
And we are transitioning into different things and becoming.
Right.
But some people get lost in that.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, feeling a lack of direction.
Oh, that's true.
We get a lot of people that are working until they you wake up and realize, whoa, it's July.
I'm just
it's
saying,
July.
yeah, you're
I've been
literally like-
working. Where is the time for yourself?
Right.
Where is the time for the things you love and your passions?
Exactly.
You mentioned that you're an advocate for wellness and
Yes.
personal mastery.
Yes.
Tell us about that area.
Honestly, I wasn't huge about this up until 2019.
Yes.
And I was balancing between still the same thing that I was telling you, corporate world and creative.
Yeah.
Then I stumbled into this multinational organization. I was pumped. I really wanted to be there for
Right.
30 years plus. But I did get to face the reality of what does it mean when you actually have sort of a wellness breakdown. And it really occurred to me the importance of having that going on for yourself, being in a space where there's good well-being for you and you're able to handle yourself through the thick and the thin. And I think it really brought it to light the importance of just being mentally sane, yeah, and being in a safe space.
Right.
So that's what brought out the importance of having to understand self-care, self-love, and self-discovery. Just being able to understand, who is Monique? How can I be able to maneuver through this? And if I'm facing the hard times, what techniques can I use to be able to empower myself at the end of the day? And you know, many people are going through stuff. I know someone who's driving from work is literally crying in their car because they're like, yo, today was a bad day. and it happens. So it's like, how do you handle that? And you have to go on, you have to pay bills, you have to do their thing. Yeah. So that's where it actually came up to me. And then even in the creative world, there's the tension for you want to win. If you put up a song on YouTube, you want to see it have 1 million views by like the end of a month or 2 months. So what happens if you put up a song and you only have, let's say, 1,000 views and it's like 6 months down? You know, you almost feel like giving up. So you have to really nurture your brain to really keep up or just stay sane while you're moving through, while you're persistent.
Wow, well said. And you see, I think it's a blessing that you are in both spaces, and also very interested in what young people are doing to cope.
Right.
It's in the how, but there's people who are managing just to go by, but it doesn't mean they're okay.
Okay. True.
As an artist, as a creative, and then you double up as someone who's passionate about this.
Right.
I think it's a blessing that you are in the right place at the right time. We've been seeing a lot of celebrities going through a lot of pressure. In fact, today we were talking about a new law in Norway, and it's all about trying to curb unrealistic beauty standards.
Oh, wow.
Right? And the pressure that we're seeing online. And this is just one area. But yeah, they're trying to find a way to require influencers to declare their retouched photos.
Okay.
Right?
That's true.
Like you have to label it and say, look, this body has been manipulated.
Exactly.
There's an editing, you know, don't feel the pressure. As a celebrity, and also doing what you're passionate about, and you've said that you're an advocate for wellness.
Yeah.
What's your take on how aggressively this is being pushed right before our eyes, for our children, for ourselves, for women and men? The pressure to be perfect, the pressure to be on.
Right.
What's your take on that?
I mean, and I it's so sad because it's really breaking us. Every day it's really breaking us, and we are consciously and subconsciously digesting things from everywhere. Any touch point that you come across. I mean, I think I even try to cap my social media. I have an app thingy that tries to cap it. Yeah. Because the more you're actually consuming content, the more you don't know how much people are curating that stuff. Because there's a lot of curation. Personally, I curate a lot of my stuff on Instagram and my spaces that I share. So I think it's very, very important for people to be very aware. And even besides being aware, because I think the subconscious mind does pick up on things. And that's when we start judging ourselves and start to see our imperfections, quote unquote. And you're judging it upon perfections by a curated site. You get what I mean?
Right.
So that's a problem. So it's very important for people to create this lines, these borders, these barriers, so that you can be able to work it out. And I like the way these guys are trying to say, cap it and, you know, call out the people. If you put it on a filter,
like, this is too much.
Call it out. But, you know, some people wouldn't want to actually call out they're putting filters. They want to actually roll around with that going on. So it's a bit of a push and pull. Not everybody will fold to that. But I know it does have an impact on many of us. Personally, I've had those battles for perfection, trying to be this perfect thing, you know, trying to appear perfect and trying to be perfect, even in your family, not necessarily on the timelines of social media, just perfect. But I've come to that understanding that there's beauty in the imperfection. You don't have to fight to be perfect.
You're preaching on a Monday. I love it. And you know what I love the most about this is you're speaking from, you know, the experience of being in front of the camera.
Exactly.
You've walked the journey. You know what it's like to be behind, you know, behind the scenes. You know what it's like to be in front of the camera. You know what it's like to take a break from, you know, your passion because your body demands it, and to respect yourself in that way. There's a lot that celebrities are yet to learn. Do you think if this was applied here in Kenya, it would actually work, this law? Do you think people would embrace it?
I feel, would they? Well,
they'll be like, no.
Yeah.
Let's keep on dreaming.
Yeah.
Let's stay with our.
A few will attempt to, but like a few will just be like, pass. Just pass.
This is my waist, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
So you've taken a break for a while. You're going to be sharing with us. I'm going to be getting into that.
Right.
Some of the things you do in terms of wellness, and this is according to CECE. All right, the book of CECE. You're going to be sharing with us the tips on how to take care of ourselves. Life is just passing by, and a lot of people are not smelling the roses.
Right.
They want to, but they can't. Life is just expecting way too much from us. And I think this is a great conversation to have. Earlier, there was a debate on how the phrase mental health has been taken out of context in many ways. And the people speaking on this conversation may not even have the capacity to break it down.
That's true.
And a hard day is not a hard life. A bad day is not a bad life sometimes. And you need to understand that there's people who go through what you go through.
Right.
What has been your biggest challenge so far, where you feel I'm struggling when it comes to this area of my life? What is this thing that you feel has been the eye opener?
Oh my gosh. Let's just say I like that you called out the perfectionist part, because you kind of have a dream, because when you start off this life thing, you're at birth and you've gone through your high school, your primary school, your university. Idea is for you to pass, get good grades, enter into this 9 to 5 that you work through.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes people take a different route for the creative. So at the end of it, what you're wishing for yourself is to have success, and you want to have success how you wish for it to be packaged to you and how you wish for it to come. So when it doesn't come in that format, or when it doesn't come completely.
Right.
So it's like I've faced situations where I don't get my way. You remember the way I mentioned about the corporate that I wanted to stay there for like 30 years.
Yes.
I mean, that came to a hold and I felt so sad. That was one of my biggest crashing moments. Musically, I think I've tasted that aspect of, I don't want to call it fame, but like greatness.
Right.
In it. And then there's points where it's like, a slow plateau. And then so when you get to the slow plateau kind of space, you kind of start having those moments for, oh my gosh, am I even doing the right thing?
Right.
Should I rechange this?
Why was I given this gift?
Yeah. What do we do? So those are the moments that like usually slow me down, and I like them to some extent because they kind of awaken something else in me. They awaken the another aspect of wellness, I think. Yeah, I believe. Because then now I get to my deeper roots of me and I understand my why, my real why as to why I'm doing things. Yeah.
Wow, that quietness, that introspection is important for everyone. But with all the noise, this is why people like you are a blessing, because we can all just borrow a leaf and try every once in a while to meet yourself. Wherever it is that you are, it's fine.
Exactly.
And to also know that it's elusive,
Right?
chasing this thing. You've been there, done that. There's a lot of conversations around African female singers.
Right.
And you're as good as your last record. The pressure of that. Have you ever felt that pressure as a female singer on the continent to create content that may not necessarily be what you're about?
Okay.
Because you mentioned when things are not
sort of plateau.
Right.
Right.
And people know you for a certain kind of sound. They know you for, what you bring.
Right.
Have you ever felt a need to sell out to still have that high?
Honestly,
constantly,
I think every day it happens to like artists, or personally I've felt it, because the music industry keeps on changing and there's always new vibrant sounds. There's the Afrobeat now, and remember we were wild about Nigerian music and how the Afro sound was sounding like, and now the South Africans have come in with the Amapiano. Everyone is trying to mix it up and bring that in. So if you're moving with the wave, you always move with them. It does help in terms of commercializing your stuff. But if you're trying to be like, I don't think Jeanne like got to where she got to by folding, because
she's positioned. She's maintained.
She's maintained, and now everybody's joining her,
right,
and becoming a part of that. So the truth is, I have had moments where I felt the need to have to bend. I'd go to the studio and I'm like, produce, I'd be like, MG, make it sound like this,
right?
And there are times I'm like, you know what, no. let them catch on. Let them find you where you are in some of the tracks. So some of the tracks is not for I say some of the tracks is not for everybody. Some of the tracks is just for one person, and that person will find it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you offer a special kind of Kenyan spice, and that's why it's great to have you here, because we're all about actual talent. We're all about celebrating people that do. People that, bring something to the table.
Right.
Your music is still being played, and I'm seeing a lot of tweets about, your work. Hashtag Spice Drive, loving the wisdom from CECE and the openness. Celebrities don't do that. They filter everything for you. It's a different kind of celebrity. And you're saying it's on another level. I'm here just taking notes. And we had really missed her beautiful voice. She should do an a cappella to the latest jam, Waambie. Thanks for having her on the Spice Drive. Who else would you like to see? Let us know. Get on the hashtag Spice Drive. Someone here is talking about the authenticity. I can relate to all those struggles. And your favorite celebrity is a human being just like you. So CECE, everyone is saying, I relate. I know what that is. I can feel that. Having to be something.
Right.
In fact, you don't even know what you're striving to be and who you're striving to be this thing for. Is it family expectations? Is it trying to blend in when you walk into a circle and you were born different?
Right.
But you're thinking to yourself, I need to be this thing. And the pressure. I can imagine being an artist, being a creative.
Right.
It's probably 100 times more.
Right.
What's your biggest lesson doing music in this country?
Whoa. Kenya, Africa.
Yeah.
I think first of all, times change, things change. They like one thing today, they like something different tomorrow. You kind of have to know what's working, because also platforms change. Because I think we were talking about it earlier. Sometimes we used to do a lot of radio tours, TV tours, but now digital is also opening up, and so guys are getting that space also to work out their stuff. It's opening up, and we're getting to move to a space where we can be global. So there's opportunity for a Kenyan or an African to actually blow up through the streams. So I like that aspect. I still feel like there's more room for us to take this seriously.
Yeah.
So because I think it starts with us. If we don't take it seriously, it'll just always slide. So I always give props to anybody who I see who does the effort and goes the whole way, even though it's holding a whole event for just an album or something. Guys don't do that anymore. They're a bit
It's actually
tired.
changed. You're right about that. I mean, 10 years ago, the landscape was very different.
Right.
The audience was quite different.
Right.
And as an artist, you're feeling it.
Right.
You're experiencing it, and you're adapting very quickly. You got back into the studio,
Right.
and you decided to make some music.
Yes.
And all your fans are excited. Tell us about that scary day you booked a session and decided to get back in and do your thing.
I don't know. I think it was not that scary,
Yes.
but it was a bit scary. I think we were having a chat with my producer, MG, and we're like, yo, we've missed music. Why are we not doing this? We should do this thing. We always do this thing where we hype each other and Victor gets tired of it.
Yes.
It's like, so anyway, we're hyping each other and we're like, yo, why can't we try something? And then I remember when we went to the studio, he played a bit and I was like, oh, I love this. It's very vibey. It's a bit sensual. I think you're gonna hear how the beat flows.
Yeah.
Very sensual. So I was like, oh, wow. So it was like right from your heart. And I'm like, okay, let's write from my heart and let's see and then talk about rekindled love and
Yes.
what does that look like and, how can you maneuver through it?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was an exciting time to just be able to do that and step out from that and rework how the video would be like, because you also envision while you're doing the song, the music. I mean, you as an artist would know when you're doing the music and you're producing the studio, you also envision the video of it. So we walked out with Victor and a team just to be able to shoot that.
Yeah.
Radisson came through and a couple of people came through and were able to piece up something.
Nice.
So I was excited about that.
Before I proceed, shout out to Victor, by the way. That kind of support system. Money can't buy. Money can't buy. Getting back into the studio, doing all this work, having creative people around you, and just
Right.
absorbing your experiences and putting them in song. I think that right there is part of what makes a true artist.
Right.
And finding ways to bounce back and be exactly who you are. I've seen a lot of tweets about how authentic you are.
Oh, wow.
Do you
Thank
think this is why the audience loves you?
Oh, woo, would I say that? That sounds vain. I was like, yes.
The audience loves me,
Darling.
Do you think they're crazy about you because of your authenticity, or what do you think?
Because I've met like two different groups of sort of people, and I'm again coming back to the commercial, non-commercial kind of sense. Because sometimes I used to be confused. What is my sound? Does it sound commercial like? And then sometimes in my ear, it might sound commercial. Then someone's like, "Oh, you're so niche." I'm like, "What?
Niche
What
is
is
good.
that?" Yeah, but I've come to accept it. I've come to love it because
Yes.
again, we've talked about just being on your path, and then guys finding you on the way. You never know what
Yeah.
might open up at the end of the day. So I've met guys who were like, "Yo, I really love your stuff. I think you should do like more, like an album or an EP or something of a sort." Yeah.
Nice.
So-
I have one question because it's come up on the timeline too often, and you need to just, share with us your
Right.
beautiful gift. Will you give us an a cappella of your brand new song?
Yes.
It's coming up.
It's coming up.
It's coming up. You heard it from CeCe SAGINI herself right here on the Spice Drive with yours truly. And we're going to be getting into that beautiful session in a moment. But before we get there, as we talk about the journey to rediscovery, CeCe has some wellness tips on how you can find yourself and rediscover who you are,
Right.
who you were intended to be.
Right.
It's a spiritual journey for some, and for others, they feel like it's something you have to mechanically implement. You have to be intentional with it, jot things down. And other people
Right.
think an awakening is, a burning bush, a soundtrack, tears, crying in the shower. Sometimes the awakening
It works.
happens as you listen to the Spice Drive.
Yeah.
You were just driving or, sitting at the office, you open up that extra tab, and then you heard something CeCe said and you're like, there I am.
It's true.
There I am. What are some of the things with the busy lifestyles, commitments, relationships? The tax man is coming for you. Everything is happening.
Right.
How do you center yourself? What are some of these wellness tips you want to give us?
Oh my God. Like, I think, there's a time, I think, when I was still at the corporate that I was sharing,
Yes.
the specific one.
Yes.
That got many of us like freaking out. We ended up seeing a therapist, a counselor. She's called Kit Kat. Shout out to Kit Kat.
Wow.
She's a bae.
Nice.
And there are so many techniques like that she brought us down into looking into personally. Literally could be as simple as a grounding technique. Like I know I wouldn't want to deep dive in mental health because I feel like that should be handled by an expert. But I think most of us go through different episodes of stuff. It could be even anxiety, but like understanding when it is that you can be able to step aside, know what triggers you, just understand what triggers you, and if you know this is what triggers me, avoid it at all costs. And if you can't avoid it, like address it. That's another thing. Setting boundaries was huge for me because what you'd call. What is it?
The yes girl?
Yes, almost a yes girl. And I don't want to hurt your feelings and I don't like confrontation.
Right.
So I'd almost like just move with it. Let's
Yeah.
just be
Just
happy,
like,
all
let's-
of us.
let's hang in
Let's
there.
be nice. But you need to know how to set those boundaries because it's really a part of self-care for you and it's a part of self-love. So that's one
Right.
thing for sure.
Yeah.
And then two is just... remember to self-care for yourself, like put yourself first, even if, because you can't, it's you, then your family or your loved ones, then work. Sometimes we get confused and then we put work and then, or sometimes we'll put family, but you're bleeding dry and there's nothing that you can offer more. So
Yeah.
if you understand how to place yourself also first, use the tips, things that you enjoy. If it's you like scented candles and like a good shower or bath, or you like taking a walk, or like I don't know, painting.
Yeah.
Looking for these moments to just separate yourself. I think that's a good technique also to use, just to be able to have your you time. Yeah. The grounding one was very big. Maybe I touch a bit about that. It's
Yes.
just you actually activating all your senses: sight, touch, smell, and then breathing in and out. Just inhale and exhale. Those simple things. That inhale, exhale. Someone's like, I don't have the time, sis. You will have
Take
the time
time.
to breathe in and breathe out, because that activity, just that simple 5-minute activity, can really ground you, and then you can be more sober minded, especially if you're angry or you're
Right.
very tensed or you're having an anxiety attack. Yeah.
Wow. Well said. I mean, yeah, celebrities are normal people, by the way, in case you didn't know. And I like that, even when you feel like you're drained or you
Right.
have nothing left, you can seek help. You
Right.
know where the experts are. Help
Exactly.
is always available. And yeah, a good playlist always helps as well. Speaking of good music, CeCe has a brand new record. We're
Hey.
excited for you. And we can get this record on all social media platforms.
Yes.
Where exactly?
So Wambia actually has a video out. Also,
Nice.
it's here. You could find it on YouTube. So that's what
Nice.
you can find for sure. The audio should be on SoundCloud. I know we were organizing to make sure it's across iTunes and,
Yes.
and all this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So by I think the end of this week, it should be on.
It should be
everywhere across.
on
Yeah.
every platform.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, as requested by Team Spice Drive, we would enjoy, we request, we humbly request that you give us an a cappella of your beautiful new record. Can you give us a taste?
Okay, let's see. So let me start from, you kind of have to like tune yourself on the side.
Yes.
Come in. Okay, so. Mutawayoyoma, bado tunasonga, kwako sitatoka, wambie.
And the song is about relationships,
Yes.
and it's personal experience.
It is an aspect of personal experience and something that I saw through my friends in that same season, where it was more of, you could be jumbled up, but then you forget you and yours. It's just the two of you really moving in this life. So it's like, even after everything that is happening, like, don't get lost in the noise. Don't get lost in the pressure. I can give you an example. There's pressures for if you've had a long-term boyfriend, why are you guys not getting married? If you've been married for long, why are you guys not getting a child?
Right.
If you have the first child, where's the second child?
Where's the second?
It's
baby?
like,
Oh
it
my
never
goodness.
stops.
It never ends. It never ends. And it's the external factors that are insatiable.
Exactly.
And yet you should be secure in whatever stage you're at.
Yes.
But there's those other people who need you to do things for
Exactly.
them. And I like the fact that this song speaks to many people during this time.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's going to get a lot of streams and a lot of views. Shout out to everyone listening in. Someone here is saying breathing is essential. If you're not breathing, you're not living. Thank you, CeCe Sagini. I've seen another one here, and on fire. CeCe, thanks for that advice. I'm the most important person before anyone else, Kwanzaa. And sometimes that sounds selfish to put yourself first, but we need to
Yes.
remember that. Even as you set the tone for a new month, a
Exactly.
new week, a new day,
Yeah.
affirm, speak to yourself.
Right.
And I'm proud of your journey.
Oh, thank you.
I love who you are as a person. And then the music is just like another bonus. Your relationship status. Are
Right.
you married, single?
Oh.
What's the deal?
Here, the way I usually speak as if like everybody knows. Like you should know.
It's out there.
It's out there. Yes. So CeCe is married
Yes.
to a lovely, handsome man
Yeah.
called Victor Peace.
Chocolate. Yes.
Yes, and it's just the two of us.
And I'm going to be playing that song for you. Just the two of you. And, it's important to also have people around you that are for you. And I think that is absolutely important. So thank you so much for joining us here on the Spice Drive. And I'm going to be sharing where we can get this music and beautiful tips on how to just center yourself every once in a while. And it doesn't have to be a vacation.
Yeah, it
Even
doesn't
at your
have to.
desk.
Right.
Just breathe in and out. Balance yourself,
Exactly.
schedule you time before you start your day,
Yes.
before you engage with others. Do you have a podcast or a platform where people can, engage you about wellness?
I've been waiting. Is it the time?
This is the time. This is the time.
Yeah, I know. Like right after that, like because it really affected me, and I thought I was, am I weak? Am I the one who just like is feeling the pain of the reality of things?
Right.
Or are we many out here? And by the time I was starting to have conversations with people, like guys were getting to open up, and I was like, yo, this is actually a thing. So I did start a podcast. It's called Wellness with CeCe. I've shared a link on my Instagram.
Yes.
Up there, Linktree, and then if you click on it, I know you can be able to see all the podcasts that I've been able to do. And listen, I mean, I usually say I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing my life, and adding other people's story on there.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I'll call the therapist to be on board as well, and we can have conversations, because I feel like there's a lot people have to share.
Yeah.
And there's so much that we can learn from each other.
You're preaching on a Monday. I learned so much, and I love how you tell it. I love how you tell it. I love who you are, and for sharing your story with the audience. And we're going to be sharing that platform as well. I think you're perfect for it. Wellness with CECE sounds great, rings a bell. She's exactly what she says she is, no filter. And we're here for it. Thank you so much for making time to join us.